Throughout human history, there have always been groups who choose to operate away from the public eye. These are the secret societies, organizations bound by oaths, rituals, and a shared purpose that is deliberately concealed from the outside world. They exist in the margins of official records, their influence often felt but rarely seen. The very idea of a secret society sparks a deep and primal curiosity within us. It taps into our fear of the unknown and our suspicion that powerful forces are at work behind the scenes, shaping the course of our lives and the destiny of nations without our knowledge or consent. These organizations can be driven by a variety of motives, from political revolution and philosophical enlightenment to social camaraderie and the consolidation of elite power. The allure of these clandestine groups is rooted in their exclusivity and the promise of privileged knowledge. To be a member is to be an insider, to be part of a select few who understand the true workings of the world. This sense of belonging is often reinforced by elaborate initiation ceremonies, secret handshakes, and cryptic symbols that are meaningless to outsiders but rich with significance for the initiated. The secrecy serves a dual purpose. It protects the members and their activities from scrutiny and opposition, and it enhances the mystique and power of the group itself. When information is scarce, human imagination fills the void, often with tales of conspiracy, dark rituals, and immense unchecked influence. From ancient religious cults to modern political cabals, the common thread that unites all secret societies is their operation in the shadows. They thrive on the principle that what is hidden holds more power than what is openly displayed. This creates a fascinating dynamic where their perceived influence can sometimes become more potent than their actual capabilities. The less we know for certain, the more we are inclined to believe in their omnipotence. This dynamic has fueled countless books, films, and conspiracy theories, embedding these groups firmly into our collective consciousness as the hidden puppet masters of history, pulling the strings from behind a veil of impenetrable secrecy. In this exploration, we will pull back the curtain on some of the world's most famous and mysterious secret societies. We will delve into their origins, their stated goals, and the controversial actions that have cemented their place in history and legend. We will examine the violent nationalism of the Black Hand, the elite global networking of the Bilderberg Group, the esoteric quest of the Rosicrucians, and the bizarre rituals of Bohemian Grove. By understanding these groups, we can begin to comprehend why the idea of a hidden world, operating just beyond our perception, continues to captivate and unsettle us in an age that prides itself on transparency and information. If you're intrigued by the mysteries of secret societies, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating explorations into the unknown. In the early 20th century, the Balkans were a powder keg of ethnic tensions and political ambitions, and at its heart was the Kingdom of Serbia. It was in this volatile environment that one of history's most consequential secret societies was born, the Black Hand. Officially named Ujedinjenje ili Smrt, which means unification or death, this organization was not a gathering of philosophers or mystics, but a cabal of high-ranking and fiercely nationalistic officers within the Serbian army. Their singular, unwavering goal was the creation of a greater Serbia, a powerful state that would unite all Slavic peoples by annexing territories they believed rightfully belonged to them, including Bosnia and Herzegovina, which were then under the control of the sprawling Austro-Hungarian Empire. The origins of the Black Hand can be traced to a bloody coup in 1903. A group of military officers, disgusted with what they saw as the weak and pro-Austrian policies of King Alexander I, decided to take matters into their own hands. Led by the formidable Colonel Dragutin Dmitrijević, they stormed the royal palace in Belgrade on the night of June 10th. The conspirators were ruthless, assassinating not only the king and his wife, but also her brothers and several key government ministers. This violent act dramatically shifted the political landscape of Serbia, placing a new dynasty on the throne, and more importantly, cementing the military's powerful influence over the nation's affairs. With their influence growing, Dmitrijević and his co-conspirators formalized their network. In May 1911, they officially founded Unification or Death. Dmitrijević, who was by then the head of Serbian military intelligence, adopted the codename Apis, after the sacred bull god of ancient Egypt, a name that reflected his powerful and revered status within the organization. The society was structured in a cellular system, with members knowing only those in their immediate circle, ensuring that the identity of the leadership, especially Apis himself, remained a closely guarded secret. This structure made the organization incredibly difficult to infiltrate and highly effective in its clandestine operations. The Black Hand's methods were as brutal as its name suggested. They relied heavily on political assassinations and terrorism to eliminate their enemies and advance their nationalist agenda. Anyone who stood in the way of a greater Serbia, whether a foreign official or a dissenting Serbian politician, became a potential target. The organization's influence extended deep into the Serbian state, with the press, often controlled by military sympathizers, portraying their violent acts as heroic deeds in the service of the nation. They were seen by many Serbs not as terrorists but as patriots willing to do whatever was necessary to realize their dream of a unified Slavic homeland. The Black Hand's most infamous and world-altering act was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. By 1914, Apis and the leadership of the Black Hand had decided that the Archduke, who was perceived as a moderate who might grant concessions to the Slavs within the empire, was a threat to their goal of a full-scale Slavic revolt. His death, they believed, would provoke a crisis that could be exploited to achieve their ambitions. They meticulously planned the assassination, recruiting and training a team of young Bosnian Serb nationalists to carry out the attack during the Archduke's planned visit to Sarajevo on June 28. On that fateful day, the plan nearly fell apart. As the Archduke's motorcade drove through the city, the first assassin, an officer named Nedeljko Kabrinović, threw a bomb at the Archduke's car. However, the bomb bounced off the vehicle and exploded beneath the car behind it, injuring several soldiers and onlookers but leaving Franz Ferdinand and his wife, Sophie, unharmed. The failed attempt caused chaos, and the motorcade sped away towards the town hall. It seemed as though the plot had been foiled, a misstep in the Black Hand's otherwise deadly record of political violence. However, fate, in its cruel and ironic way, intervened. After a tense reception at the town hall, the Archduke decided to change his plans and visit the soldiers who had been injured in the bombing. His driver, unfamiliar with the new route, took a wrong turn onto a side street. As the driver attempted to reverse the car, it stalled directly in front of a delicatessen where another of the assassins, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, happened to be standing. Seizing the unbelievable opportunity, Princip stepped forward, drew his pistol, and fired 2 shots at point-blank range, killing both the Archduke and his wife. This single act of violence, orchestrated by a secret society driven by radical nationalism, was the spark that ignited the First World War. Austria-Hungary, outraged, issued an ultimatum to Serbia, which was partially rejected. What followed was a catastrophic domino effect of alliances and declarations of war that plunged the world into a conflict of unprecedented scale, resulting in over 17 million deaths and the collapse of empires. The Black Hand had achieved a crisis far greater than they could have ever imagined, but it would ultimately lead to their own destruction, as Serbia was devastated by the war they had helped unleash. In the aftermath of the Second World War, as the Cold War began to cast its long shadow across the globe, a new kind of secret society emerged. This one was not composed of violent revolutionaries, but of the world's most powerful and influential figures in politics, finance, industry, and academia. This was the Bilderberg Group, named after the Bilderberg Hotel in Oosterbeek, Netherlands, where their first ever meeting was held in May 1954. The gathering was initiated by Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, who worried about the growing anti-American sentiment in Europe, and sought to foster better understanding and cooperation between North America and its European allies. The stated purpose of the Bilderberg meetings has always been to provide a private, off-the-record forum for open discussion. The idea was that by bringing together the West's leading minds, they could freely debate the major political and economic issues of the day without the pressure of media scrutiny or the need for public posturing. According to the group's own sparse public statements, no formal resolutions are proposed, no votes are taken, and no policy statements are issued. The meetings are governed by the Chatham House Rule, which allows participants to use the information they receive, but not to reveal the identity or affiliation of the speaker. The guest list for these annual meetings is a veritable who's who of the global elite. It regularly includes prime ministers, finance ministers, CEOs of multinational corporations, banking tycoons, media moguls, and heads of international organizations. Attendees have reportedly included figures like Henry Kissinger, Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, and the heads of major corporations like Google, Shell, and Goldman Sachs. This incredible concentration of power in one place year after year is precisely what has made the Bilderberg Group a central focus for researchers and conspiracy theorists alike, who question its benign stated intentions. Critics argue that it is naive to believe that when such a powerful collection of individuals meets in absolute secrecy, they are merely having a friendly chat. The suspicion is that these gatherings are anything but informal discussions. Instead, they are seen as a shadow world government, a place where global policy is decided far from the democratic process, and where the future of the world is planned by an unelected and unaccountable elite. The group's refusal to release minutes or detailed agendas only fuels the speculation that their true purpose is to coordinate a globalist agenda that serves their own interests above all others. The very nature of the Bilderberg Group's secrecy makes it, well, a fertile breeding ground for conspiracy theories. The central accusation is that the group is not merely discussing world events, but actually shaping them to create a one-world government or a new world order controlled by a powerful financial and political elite. Proponents of this view point to the fact that many attendees have gone on to hold even more powerful positions shortly after attending a Bilderberg meeting. For example, both Bill Clinton and Tony Blair attended Bilderberg conferences as up-and-coming politicians before they became President of the United States and Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, respectively. This pattern has led many to believe that the meetings function as a kind of vetting process, where potential future leaders are selected and groomed by the established global power structure. The group is accused of having a hand in major global events, from orchestrating financial crises to deciding the outcomes of national elections. While concrete evidence for these claims is almost impossible to obtain due to the intense secrecy, the circumstantial evidence provided by the guest lists and the subsequent careers of the attendees is enough to keep the suspicions alive and well in the public consciousness. The intense security measures surrounding the annual meetings only add to the mystery. The locations, usually luxury hotels in Europe or North America, are kept secret until the last minute and are then placed under a complete lockdown. Heavily armed security, local police, and even military personnel create a fortified perimeter, ensuring that no journalists or protesters can get anywhere near the proceedings. This level of protection, honestly, is more suited to a head-of-state summit than a private discussion club, and it really reinforces the public perception that something of immense importance and immense secrecy is taking place inside. The stark contrast between the group's informal description and its fortress-like security is a major source of public distrust. Ultimately, the Bilderberg Group represents a modern form of secret society, one that wields influence not through violence or esoteric knowledge, but through the immense power of its network. Whether it is a benign forum for transatlantic dialogue or a sinister cabal plotting global domination, remains a subject of intense debate. The truth, well, it likely lies somewhere in between. However, as long as the world's most powerful people continue to meet behind closed doors, refusing to be transparent about their discussions, the Bilderberg Group will remain a potent symbol of the hidden forces that many believe truly govern our world. Dating back to the early 17th century, the Rosicrucian Order is one of history's most enigmatic and enduring philosophical secret societies. Unlike groups driven by political power, the Rosicrucians are dedicated to the pursuit of esoteric knowledge and spiritual enlightenment. Their origins are shrouded in legend, first emerging into public awareness through a series of anonymous manifestos published in Germany. These texts told the story of a mysterious founder, Christian Rosenkreuz, a German noble who was said to have traveled the Middle East in the 15th century, learning ancient wisdom from Arab sages, before returning to Europe to establish a secret brotherhood dedicated to studying the mysteries of nature and the universe. There is no definitive historical evidence that Christian Rosenkreuz ever existed. Many scholars believe he was a symbolic figure created to embody the ideals of the movement. The Rosicrucian philosophy itself is a fascinating syncretic blend of different belief systems. It combines elements of Christian mysticism with Jewish Kabbalah, ancient Egyptian Hermeticism, alchemy, and astrology. Rosicrucians believe that there are universal truths and hidden laws that govern existence, a true science passed down through the ages but concealed from the masses, who are not yet spiritually prepared to receive it. Their goal is to achieve personal transformation and enlightenment by unlocking this secret wisdom. The teachings of the Rosicrucians spread across Europe, capturing the imagination of prominent thinkers and intellectuals, including the English philosopher Sir Francis Bacon, who wrote about a utopian society guided by similar principles in his book, New Atlantis. A central tenet of Rosicrucianism is a deep fascination with ancient Egypt, which they view as a civilization that possessed profound knowledge of science, spirituality, and human potential. This reverence is so strong that modern Rosicrucian organizations, like the ancient mystical order Rosicrucis, or AMORC, maintain their own Egyptian museums, with the one in San Jose, California, housing thousands of genuine ancient artifacts. For Rosicrucians, the path to wisdom is a solitary and internal journey, but one guided by the teachings of the order. They engage in rituals and meditative practices designed to awaken the inner self and connect with a cosmic consciousness. Some of these rituals are reportedly inspired by ancient Egyptian practices, with ceremonies conducted to honor deities like Amun. They also organize annual pilgrimages to significant historical sites, most notably the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, where they believe they can perform their rites in a place of immense spiritual power. The Rosicrucians remain a testament to the human desire for knowledge that lies beyond the grasp of mainstream science and religion. Nestled within a sprawling 2,700-acre redwood forest in Monte Rio, California, lies the Bohemian Grove, the exclusive summer retreat for one of the most elite and secretive all-male clubs in the world, the Bohemian Club. Founded in 1872 by a group of San Francisco journalists, artists, and musicians, the club's motto is "Weaving spiders come not here," a line from a Shakespeare play intended to mean that outside worries and business dealings should be left at the gate. The Grove is meant to be a rustic getaway, a place where the world's most powerful men can escape the pressures of their public lives and indulge in camaraderie and revelry for 2 weeks every July. The membership list of the Bohemian Club reads like a directory of the American power elite. It has included every Republican U.S. president since Herbert Hoover, as well as high-ranking government officials, military leaders, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and influential figures from media and finance. Men like Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and Henry Kissinger have all been members. The sheer concentration of wealth and political influence gathered in one secluded location has naturally led to intense public curiosity and suspicion about what really goes on behind the Grove's heavily guarded gates. Officially, the purpose of the annual encampment is purely recreational. Members stay in rustic cabins, attend lectures and performances, and enjoy the natural beauty of the ancient forest. The club emphasizes its artistic and cultural roots, with members putting on elaborate theatrical productions and musical performances. It is presented as a high-minded summer camp for the powerful, a chance to unwind and connect with peers in an informal setting. However, the strict secrecy and the club's motto are often viewed with skepticism. Critics argue that it is impossible for such a gathering to be purely for fun. The suspicion is that the Bohemian Grove is far more than just a playground for the rich and famous. It is seen as a place where informal networking leads to very real-world consequences. It is where backroom deals are struck, political alliances are forged, and national policies are debated and decided away from any form of public oversight or accountability. One of the most famous examples cited is the Manhattan Project. It is widely reported that a crucial planning meeting for the program that developed the atomic bomb took place at the Grove in 1942. Giving birth to the nuclear age in the secrecy of a Californian forest. What truly sets the Bohemian Grove apart and fuels the darkest rumors is its bizarre and theatrical opening ceremony, known as the Cremation of Care. On the first Saturday of the encampment, members gather at the base of a massive 40-foot concrete owl statue, which represents knowledge and serves as the Grove's patron saint. In a dramatic pagan-esque ritual, a small boat carries a human effigy, representing dull care, across a lake. This effigy is then placed upon a pyre and set ablaze, symbolizing the burning away of the members' worldly worries, so they can enjoy their retreat. This strange ceremony was brought to public attention in 2000 when filmmaker Alex Jones, accompanied by another journalist, managed to infiltrate the Grove and secretly film the ritual. The footage, grainy and unsettling, showed robed figures chanting and the burning of the effigy before the giant owl. While club members have dismissed it as a harmless, traditional pageant, a celebration of nature, the imagery struck many as occultish and deeply disturbing. The leaked video confirmed the long-held suspicions of many that the activities at the Grove were far from innocent, sparking widespread debate and condemnation. The rumors surrounding the Grove extend beyond its strange rituals. Testimonies from former members and employees have painted a picture of extreme hedonism and debauchery taking place under the cover of the redwood canopy. The all-male environment, combined with immense wealth and power, is said to create an atmosphere where members engage in behavior they would never display in public. Former President Richard Nixon, himself a member, was famously caught on tape describing activities at the Grove as the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. A comment that has only added to the speculation about the true nature of the club's activities. The combination of elite power, strict secrecy, and bizarre rituals makes the Bohemian Grove one of the most fascinating and controversial secret societies in the modern world. It embodies the public's deepest fears about a ruling class that operates by a different set of rules, making monumental decisions and engaging in strange practices far from the eyes of the society they govern. Whether it is a harmless fraternity for the powerful or a sinister cabal with a dark agenda, the Bohemian Grove stands as a potent symbol of the deep divide between the public and the private lives of the world's elite. From the violent political machinations of the Black Hand, to the elite networking of the Bilderberg Group, and from the esoteric quests of the Rosicrucians to the strange rituals of Bohemian Grove, secret societies have left an indelible mark on human history. They represent a fundamental paradox, organizations that are defined by their concealment, yet whose influence and fame grow in direct proportion to their mystery. Their stories are compelling because they speak to a deep-seated human need to find patterns and explanations for events that seem chaotic or unjust, offering the tantalizing possibility that there is a hidden order behind it all. The enduring fascination with these groups stems from their appeal to our most basic curiosities and fears. They challenge our understanding of power, suggesting that the formal structures of government and society are merely a facade, behind which the real decisions are made by an unseen few. This narrative is powerful because it offers a simple explanation for complex problems. It is easier to believe that a shadowy cabal is responsible for a financial crisis or a war, than it is to grapple with the messy and often incomprehensible web of economic, political, and social forces that truly shape our world. Moreover, the secrecy itself is a source of power. In an age of information overload where every detail of our lives can be shared publicly, the idea of a truly private space holds a powerful allure. For members, it offers a sense of belonging and superiority, the thrill of being an insider with access to privileged knowledge or influence. For outsiders, this same secrecy breeds suspicion and speculation, allowing the legends of these societies to grow far beyond their actual capabilities. The less we know for certain, the more powerful and omnipotent these groups appear to be in our collective imagination. Ultimately, secret societies will likely continue to fascinate us for as long as they exist. They are a mirror reflecting our anxieties about power, control, and the unknown. They remind us that history is not always made in the open, on battlefields or in parliaments, but often in quiet, hidden rooms, where influential people gather to shape a world that the rest of us can only try to understand. The allure of the unseen, the whisper of conspiracy, and the belief that there are deeper truths hidden just beyond our sight will ensure that the tales of these mysterious organizations continue to captivate future generations. If you enjoyed exploring these secrets with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories. Thanks for watching.